Welcome, everybody, to our January 2022 meeting. Sorry that it's not in person, but maybe we'll manage that next month, see how things are going. We don't have any visitors, so I think we're good there. Guess we'll just go ahead and get started. If anybody wants to go over anything that they've brewed, to kind of kick things off since our last thing.
I brewed a Weizenbach 2 weekends ago and fermented it at 64 degrees and used the Munich Classic yeast. And I fermented it at 64 degrees and I just kegged it the other day and I can't decide whether it's going to be good or not. It's really spicy, which is good, but I'll have it for the next meeting. But I think it turned out pretty good, I hope. So that's all I've done.
I brewed the first quarter challenge beer. It's I brewed a Kolsch. Let's see how that turns out. Since I've never brewed a Kolsch before. And I also brewed a tropical IPA. And I also brewed a coffee chocolate stout. I think that's all.
What did you use for the Kolsch yeast?
What did I use for which?
The Kolsch yeast.
The Safe Ale K97.
Yeah. I've never brewed a Kolsch. That'll be interesting to see.
I brewed a couple beers.
I want to ask if Brad Fisher, that stout, can you pour some on your keyboard so I can smell it?
This is Steve's stout.
Okay.
I'm tasting. So I can pour some on the screen, but not the keyboard.
Okay, yeah, go for it. No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Here, smell.
I brewed a couple things. I brewed a Belgian double, which I'm drinking here. And
Surprise.
yeah, no surprise. But it's just got a flavor in it that I don't love. And I don't know what it is, why it's there, but it's just got a harshness to it that I don't like. And last weekend I brewed my Q1 challenge. What style is that? Oh, it was an English mild style. And then I put the juniper in it. So we'll see how it goes. I haven't tasted it yet.
Any others?
I brewed. Oh, go ahead.
You go ahead, Tim.
I had brewed 3 of them. I got a, let's see, 10 gallons of cream ale, a honey brown, and a red IPA. I haven't got them kegged yet. I've been putting that off. I got to do that this next couple of days. So, but that's where I'm at right now.
See, I brewed a hoppy IPA on New Year's. So we shot off fireworks and I brewed. and I dry hopped it yesterday. So a couple more days and it's getting bottled. So we'll see how it goes. And then I made a blonde. It's like a German blonde, but it's all American malts and with whole melon as the aroma hop and blueberry. So we'll see how that one is. It's just about done. So
Cool. I did the. Oh, go ahead.
I had one of my worst brew days ever. It resulted in a, I think I've got it figured out, a stuck sparge. And I make a long story short, I I missed my numbers, of course, in the pre-boil. So I did the math and added some sugar to it and said, well, at this point I'll ferment it out. And I fermented it out and I hit my target gravity. But it just I've only done this with one other batch. I cried. I had someone take a picture, I dumped it and rebrewed it this time. Instead of Chris, it was that smoked vanilla porter that I was talking to you about with the I used a German smoke malt and it just didn't come out. In addition to being there's a little bit of astringency in it, and it just didn't taste right. There was not a good smoked flavor. And Jess down at the alternative beverage looked up the purchase date of the German smoke malt, and it was pretty old. So this time I went with the cherry wood on the second batch brew. I did not have the same problems. The only issue I had was it only fermented down to like 0.025, didn't really fully attenuate. I was using Windsor yeast, and so then I put in some pale 05 yeast for a couple days. It didn't go down. It only took it down maybe at one point. So I've got it in secondary. It's looking better. I'm going to taste it later on tonight, and then I'll add I'll condition it with the vanilla beans, and we'll go from there. I've got my second, well, actually my third Czech pills using a different yeast, the Czech Bohemian yeast in the fermenter now. It's doing well, and it's down to about 0.20. And after a couple days of fermenting, I'm going to start to ramp up the temperature a little bit to get rid of any DMS, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I was hoping that smoke beer would come out nice, Greg.
Well, I think it will the second time around.
All right.
Yeah, I increased the smoked malts a little bit more. And it's cleared up very nicely. It looks good. It tasted, it tasted okay fresh out of the fermenter. That beer needs to settle a little bit in previous experiences. So I'll taste it tonight, and then I think it's been about 7 days in secondary. So I've got I've taken some vanilla beans, sliced them, and put them into a tincture, a vodka tincture, and I'll flavor the vanilla, just a shade of vanilla in there because I don't want it to be too sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good. Well, I brewed the challenge beer as well. I did just a pilot 1 gallon batch because I wasn't sure on juniper berries what I was doing. So it's fermenting out now. So we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, I did my my challenge right after Christmas, and I went with a black IPA, and just trying to get a little bit more juniper flavor in there. I might tincture that one to build up the flavor some more, but I'm happy with the base flavor of it, so I'm hoping to keg that this weekend.
Did you do a certain style, John, for your challenge beer? Is it a certain style? Did I miss?
Black IPA.
Black IPA? Okay,
Yeah.
I think you said that.
I did kind of a bonehead when I was making my double. I was sitting there, making it away, and I have it on the stove, and I'm inside, and I walk by and I go, wonder if these hops should be in the boil. I was about 30-40 minutes into the boil, and I forgot to throw my 60-minute hops. So I dumped them in then and just boiled it longer. And I'm wondering if that's where this astringent or harshness came from.
All right. Anything else, guys, or ready to move on? Okay. go ahead and I guess we can use this to capture attendance, but so no sign up sheet, I guess, to go around this week. The one thing I'd wanted to do before we kick off our officer reports was to first acknowledge Steve and his leadership over the last few years. I just want to say thanks to everything. I've only been involved with in the last year and a half or so, and I really appreciate having seen his leadership, and how hearty round of applause. So I look forward to hopefully meeting those expectations. So.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And it's been a pleasure serving, and it's a pleasure to hand it off to you. I'm sure you're going to be a fantastic leader. So thank you.
All right, we'll start going around with the officers' reports. I guess I'll start off with you, Brad. Any kind of a treasury report this month?
We have a treasury. We're just in the process of getting it all set up. I'm still learning the all the files and everything. So Jay's working with me. We still have to transfer the credit card. I think he's a little leery about transferring it to me, though. I'm not sure why. But it's still there, and it's still viable. And while we're on this subject of money, are we all in agreement that we need to send something to Richard? Flowers or something?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and for those that you may not be aware, Richard's son passed yesterday, and he's 23 years old. And so just to express our concern, sympathy for the family. Going down, Chris, anything to report out?
Just a update on communications. So at last meeting, we talked a little bit about Telegram and switching to Telegram, and I had some fits and starts and trying to test it out and get people on. We successfully got Tim Kelly on. So thank you, Tim, for sticking with it, because I know it wasn't a straight line for you there. But we got Tim on, and I think I've got the instructions that we need to use for folks so that it's not completely foreign to people trying to get on it. So I'm going to start sending out. I may just break up the membership, maybe just do like the group here tonight to start with. The folks that aren't on Telegram yet, I'll send you an email and have you try it to the email address that was on the November attendance sheet. So I've got a copy of that I'm working off of. So
if I could have a moment to talk about that.
yeah.
Telegram is a secure chat client. It's super secure. And we've had a beer chat in there for a few years now. And we decided to kind of open it, get all the club members in there. And it's just a chat like any other chat you've got, but it can handle groups. And so we've got a channel where we put out club, notifications. And then there's a members only channel that is just for the members, called members. And so you can get in there and just chat about whatever you want. We show pictures of our brew, and it just seems a little less formal than Facebook and a little easier to manage than showing us right there. It's just a little more fun. And, we talk about our brew days and various things like that, and, just have a good time. So all are welcome. Come by, join. It's fairly straightforward.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
So I just got on there today. I found it was easier to just I have an Android, to go to the Google Play Store and add it, and then click the link in the email you sent. Click in the page, but the buttons didn't work. It just sort of spun. So
I think that was Tim's experience. The buttons didn't work initially. So you just went to the Android store and installed it, and then clicked the link.
Yes, and then it just went just like that.
And when you clicked the link the first time, did it prompt you for your name and that information? It never
No.
prompted you for a login or?
Wait, after I installed it from the Play Store?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. You had to put your profile name on there and everything.
right.
Okay.
But
Okay.
you know, before I installed it from the Play Store, clicking the buttons, it didn't do anything.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
That-
Okay.
That was the same way with me also, very same thing.
Same thing. Okay. 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 I
I'd
will.
say for new people, just tell them to go to the Play Store, get it. It's really small. It took like 10 seconds.
Great.
Then
Okay.
click the link.
No, that's good feedback. I appreciate that, Pete. Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, to what Brad was saying, it's just a chat channel. So unlike Facebook, it won't harass you with ads and target you with posts, and you don't have a news feed you have to keep up with and all the encumbrances of Facebook. It's just a real simple way to communicate with people in a secure way that we can control. And when you sign up initially, the link will be to the public group, which we'll be able to add members, or we'll be able to add people to even before they become members, so they can see our announcements. And then we'll add you to the members only group. But you have to get on Telegram. The key is you have to get on Telegram before we can add you to the members only group. So we can't find you out there and add you before that. So we'll get everybody in and the members on the members only group and try to use that as a way to get the word out a little bit easier without all the static of Facebook. So, but we will continue to maintain the Facebook groups. So, you know, if you're a Facebook user and great, continue to use it, continue to look there. But think of this as in addition to that. This is a little bit more of a one-on-one channel than Facebook is, more of a free for all. So, but we will update our Facebook page, both the public page and the private page. So for example, for this meeting, I put out the notice and a reminder on all four areas. So put it out on the public Facebook, private Facebook, public Telegram, and the private Telegram, the members only Telegram. So hopefully doing all that, we'll be able to reach everybody and kind of keep people informed of what's going on.
Yeah, I was glad I added it because I didn't know this was a Zoom meeting until about an hour ago. So.
Oh, all right. All right,
Good.
Yeah. And I'll add you to the, if someone hasn't already, I'll add you to the members only Telegram chat, Pete.
Okay.
All right, good.
Yeah,
I think that's
if
all I
you're-
had, unless folks had questions. Oh, there it is. Yeah,
Telegram,
Steven's got
but
the
aren't in
icon up. There it is.
If you're on Telegram, but not in the members only, put something in the chat here and then Chris can get you in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Chris. Jeff, what you got for us?
So let's see. I'll start off. We still have the library. So if anybody needs to check anything out, if I was a bit more on the ball, I would have had the link where you could kind of look at all of our sorted books and stuff. But I'll have to try to find that. Somebody might want to help me out with that one. And I could actually show y'all how to use that. But we have books. If you have any old books that you want to donate, you're more than welcome to donate them to the club. Every book, every magazine earns you a point towards the end of the year Christmas party. And so yeah, so if you have anything you want to do there. Going into library and education, one of the education topics that you could do is if you check out a book, you read it, you can give us all a presentation on it at one of the monthly meetings. I have an education sign-up list I'm kind of going through right now, and I'll kind of explain that a little bit more. But if you check out a book, read a book, and just want to give like a 5-minute presentation on it. Nothing serious. Doesn't need to have PowerPoint or anything like that. Just tell the group about what you read if you found it interesting. And the goal there is to, again, try to encourage somebody else to maybe pick up something new, keep that education going, and just keep the learning going amongst all of us. So that's the library. As far as education goes, we've got actually a pretty good lineup of education. I think we had some stuff that we were going to do this month. I had a presentation, and I know Chris and Craig, I think y'all were going to do a presentation on a WIT, if I remember. So I'm just going to go ahead and adjust everything back a month. That hopefully will be in person next month. If not, I might just go ahead and do mine. I know mine and Chris's and Greg's. I know that along with their presentations of mine, we had brewed beer. So that's where it kind of makes it difficult. We'd like to be able to present that in front of everybody in a large group. So then you can go try them, obviously. So anyways, I'm just pushing everything off a month. And so yeah, so if you have a topic that you want to present on, just let me know, reach out to me. You can reach out to me on Facebook. I'm on Telegram as well. Just shoot me a message. And it could be on anything really. Some of the topics that we've done are like book presentations. One of the things I came up with was kind of like a Bradget corner or a gadget corner. If you have something you want to show off, or especially with all of us coming out of Christmas, if you got some cool gadgets that you just want to present, show us, bring it in. You don't even have to do a demonstration there in person, but bring it in so people can kind of pass it around, look at it. DIY projects. If anybody's done any projects, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be, making a immersion chiller at a copper tubing to, making a keezer, whatever it is. Just something cool. Let's see, personal homebrew setup. So we're still doing that. If anybody's interested in just putting together small slides, and as far as once we get back together as a group, if you want to put some slides together, you can show off your brew setup. Those are always fun. And then I came up with one kind of called like a CABREW experiment. So I did one of those a couple months ago regarding tea, and it was kind of an introduction into tea. And then I brewed a beer with 4 or 5 different various types of herbal teas. So that was a really good presentation. Kind of gave you an idea of what not only tea can offer, but more along the lines of what these herbal teas and some of the flavorings that they can provide in them. So it was a really cool experiment to brew one batch of beer, break it up into 1-gallon jugs, and then bring that beer in so you can kind of see what those flavors bring to that particular style. So I know a lot of us kind of play around and experiment with certain things. So if you're doing that, just make sure to snap a couple extra photos during that process and show it off to everybody. And really, regardless, after that, anything goes. If there's something cool that you kind of want to show off, you're not getting time to really, dive into it at a meeting, with a group of people, take the floor, present on it. Let us know what's going on in your world and what kind of new things you've come up with. I think that's about it as far as library and education. If I can, hoping to connect with Tim and Ford, hopefully in the next couple weeks, and we can then discuss the next cornhole fundraiser. And hopefully most of y'all know what that is. It just kind of contributes towards yearly NCHI, just to kind of offset costs. So should have more information for you next time. And I think that's what I've got. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I could show off the library search form if you'd like, real quick.
That would be perfect. Yes.
Okay. John, could you turn on screen sharing so I can share?
Maybe.
Yeah,
It looks like it says you should be able to share, I think. Oh, here we go, all participants.
There, I've got it. This is the library book form. I've put the URL into chat in the Telegram channel. It's pretty basic. If you go here, you can search with this bar. So if you want to look for something that has hops in it, this will show you all the books with hops. If you want to search for any Zymergy magazines, you can search and just see here's all the magazines that we've got. So if you're looking for a back issue, and or if you want to look for an author, here's all the books that's got Jamil in them or some form of it. So it's pretty basic. Just that's it. Any
Cool.
questions?
Cool.
thanks, Brad.
While you're there in the spotlight, Brad, anything to share about NCHI?
Yes. We've kind of outgrown Tim's. He's been gracious to us for 5 years, but we're just getting too big for Tim's. So we're looking for a new venue for next year. If anybody knows of some site that we can maybe use where, we can set up and have it for the weekend, I realize we're probably going to have to pay something for it. And, but just send me the link of whatever you got or the contact person so we can track them down and try to see what we can put together. I've already checked with the Rural Hill, and while it would be a perfect place, they're just too much money. We can't afford Rural Hill. So we're in the hunt for that. If you can think of something, let me know.
You cut out just a little bit there. Why are we looking for a new venue?
We've kind of outgrown Tim's place, and we just need a bigger space now. And thanks for Tim and Elaine for letting us use it for all the years.
Thanks for the update, Brad. I guess our last thing was to talk about competitions. Steve, you said you had a couple things to share about that.
Yes, firstly, we do have a competition chair this year. It's Pete Betts. Thank you, Pete, for volunteering. We're going to get together and get Pete on board, and it looks like this year there's going to be some competitions. So, but just kind of last minute, we decided I'd just talk about competitions a minute. The Shamrock Open is going to be held this year. It's in Raleigh. They don't have a lot of information about it yet, other than registration opens on January 24th. And entries have to be in by February 19th. So you've got time to make a beer if you want to for the Shamrock in Raleigh. And that's the Carboy Homebrew Club's competition. And it's a great competition. I may put my Weizenbach in if it turned out okay. But the Shamrock, and I'll get the information to Chris, and maybe Chris, you can put it on the members only page or something for these competitions. But the Shamrock Open registrations in 2 Mondays, the 24th is when you register, and then you don't have to turn your beer in for at least another month. The other one just came up today. It's Bluff City Brewers. They're in Memphis. It's not an SHA competition, but it's the Bluff City Extravaganza in Memphis. You'd have to mail your entries in. They're taking 300 entries. They've got 33 entries so far. So you've got to have your beer. You got to have your beer to them by February 4th is the turn-in date. And you'd have to mail that one. And the Shamrock in Raleigh, it's all styles of beer, but no mead or no ciders. And the last one, I've been talking to Brian Senatori, DJ Festivus. His Festivus 8 is in May 22nd. It's the Sunday. He came to the meeting last month. He went to the Iredell, the IBU meeting last month. IBU is going to be there, and he has changed it up a little bit. He does have cash prizes. He's going to have 6 cash prizes, first through 6th. And he's also going to have a cash prize for best homebrew club, which club scored, say if we got 1st, 2nd, and 5th, and Iredell got whatever, whichever homebrew club has better beers, according to the judges, there's cash prize for that too. But that's in May 22nd. And it's a Sunday deal, but he said if you showed up at 12, you could probably be out of there by 3 or 3:30. So it's not an all day deal. It's a fun party though. But anyway, I'll get the information to Chris and he can maybe get on the members only soon, this information on these. So, but thanks again to Pete, who's going to be our competition chair from here on out. So that's all I've got.
Awesome. Okay. I've been seeing lots of pings out there as the site's been for information for paying dues. So just a reminder, if you haven't paid your dues, go ahead and please pay them. It's just on our website, go to the bottom and click pay. So the next thing I had, so do we have any topics today, Jeff, for education, or everything's been pushed?
Yeah, we've got Michael. Are you still up for doing like a home setup presentation?
Yeah, I can do that.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, you want to do that now?
Yeah, John, do you want to do that now or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool.
If you're ready.
Let me see if I can share. All right, does that look like it's come through, Jeff?
Let's see here.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah,
Michael.
you're good.
Okay, cool. So this is our brewing setup here, and I brew a 2.8 gallon run, and that does, and there's some reasons behind that. One of them, the biggest one is so that I can brew every 2 weeks and drink everything in between when I'm brewing. So I think the first 2 or 3 years, you know, that I did this, I've come pretty close to brewing at least a beer every 2 weeks for the last 3 or 4 years, which means I can now drink what I brew. So at a 2.5, with a 2.5 gallon system, I've got a 5.5 gallon brew kettle. And so I start out my strike water with 5 gallons. I do this with, it's brew in the bag, and you all know what that system all looks like. And it produces 24 bottles of beer. So at the end of it, I get a case of beer, put it up 2 weeks later, or according to what it is, I'm ready to drink. I've fortunately ended up with some space where I can put specialty grains and all of that good stuff. It's all grain. And I have a serial killer mill, which will hold about 7.5 pounds, which will make a nice 3 gallon, 2.5 gallon, 3 gallon batch. You know, and at that size, hops are pretty low. This hoppy IPA I made on New Year's has 3 ounces of hops in it, 1 ounce in the brew and 2 ounces in the dry hop. So even at that, that's not a lot of hops. So you can hop a lot and still be reasonable. It's a lot different than a pound of hops. I set up a 5 gallon mash tun. So it's brew in the bag in a mash tun. And I usually recirculate the last 5 or 10 minutes of it. So it's set up to recirculate, and then I use this pump for transfer and for and once this thing is done now, I use this cooler, fill it full of ice, and run it through. Use this pump to run it through an immersion chiller to chill with. But this is what.
Are you
go
taking
ahead.
questions at the end, or can I ask questions now?
Oh, you can ask now. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'm looking closely at that pump. Is that is that an AC pump with a plastic head? I'm trying to get a better balance.
It's the one that Anvil. It's an Anvil. It's the one that Anvil sells.
Okay.
And I like it. I have it's worked pretty well for a while. I've had about 3 or 4 years, so I brewed about 75 beers with it. And then then when it's recirculating, it sprays over the grain. It looks like this when it's running.
Oh, that's
Very cool.
Gets a really nice spray and keeps it just above the grain bed.
Where'd you find that at?
It's a beautiful picture. I would make that
It
your
is.
screen background.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So, and great toys, right? So that's what we do. We do this for two things: the beer and the toys. So I had a turkey fryer that I put a new banjo burner in, which is pretty hot, and I can probably boil in 20 minutes on it and the Anvil 5.5 gallon. So it's a small system, but I can get from mash to this level of boil in about 5.5, and this is what it usually looks like when I'm brewing. So I'm right at the top. It's a capacity. There's no space, so we're maxing it out. I also been the beer I'm drinking right now is the beer that's on the right. It's a porter, and whenever I do anything to keg, I do 2 batches and run 2 batches through it, throw them both in a 6.5 gallon carboy and ferment it and transfer it to a keg. So where these 3 carboys are setting is a fermentation chamber, and the thing beside it has become a Keyser since its time. And I got a picture of it at the end. If you ever seen these carboy jackets like I have on these glass carboys, you should go watch the commercial for these things. It's pretty fantastic. They take them and drop them off a house on the concrete driveway, and they'll, of course, shatters like crazy, but it won't break out of this. So you never drop a glass carboy and get hurt.
What brand is that, Mike?
I don't remember I don't really remember, but I'll post it on here.
Okay, cool.
They work great. They've got a little pocket in it that a 3x5 index card will fit in. So you write all your brew stuff on it, stick the index card in there, and the bottom of it's non-slip. So you just stick the card in and stick it in the fermenter.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I've got like a 1-inch scar from exploding carboy. Right there.
Oh, geez.
So this is what the fermentation chamber looks like, and after it's cold crashed, I get pretty decent clearing out of it. I clear with either Irish moss or usually Irish moss in the boil 10 minutes, and this has Inkbird plug-in temperature controller, and I ferment pretty much everything, all ales at 65 degrees. So so I never get close to, and that came about because of a problem I was having, making some crazy alcohols that tasted like everything from jet fuel to, the stuff you used to, when we had remote control cars that ran on gas engines, that fuel. I was making some beer that tasted like that, and because I was getting too hot. So we've got it down to 65 degrees for everything. I like to bottle. So this is the bottling setup. And as I said, this system makes a case of beer. So 24 bottles of beer. And my brew day generally looks like I bring my water up to strike temperature, grind grain, mash it in, dough it in, and then bottle the last batch. And by the time I've bottled, it's time to recirculate and start the boil. So that's generally what my Saturdays look like. This was a project we did last winter, and unfortunately, we didn't take any pictures. I think we just drank and worked. So, but this was my original fermentation chamber, and we converted it into a Keyser. It right now has, by now I've put 2 taps on it. It will hold 3 ball locks. It'll actually hold 4 will fit in this thing, but 3 fit comfortably, and then I can stick some other beer and whatever else in it. And it has a fan for recirculating and an Inkbird temperature controller on the front. So I've had pretty good luck with this. These are duo type fittings on this. If you've all experimented with those, they're you push in and they seal. My first tank of CO2 was a push in and they didn't seal. So I struggled around with it and all that, but we ended up recutting the fittings and getting them nice and square. And since then, I haven't had any leaks. But its first round, I managed to get 1 keg served out of a tank of CO2. So it kind of made it. And we've also figured out how to do this with a closed transfer, to where connect this up to whatever the carboy is and put just a little bit of CO2 in it to start it siphoning and siphon into the keg, and it never touches air. And then the best part of it is the end. So I like stouts. So we brew probably a stout every 4th or 5th brew, and this hoppy IPA I made at New Year's is the same beer that's on the right here. I really like this color, and I like hoppy beers more and more every day. So the drinking's the best part, right?
Okay.
So any of that y'all have any questions about?
How are you doing your cooling, Michael?
The cooling. Let's see. I think I have a picture. Oh yeah, I missed this. So I'm using an immersion chiller, and I run it through an ice bath in a 40-quart cooler. So it's 40-quart cooler, fill it up with ice, and put about 1/3 full of water, and I recirculate ice water through the immersion chiller.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your hot water is going back into your ice and making it and melting it to cool it further.
Yep.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah, and this worked pretty good. I could get I could get from boil to 30 to 65 degrees in about 30 minutes.
Yeah. That's
but that's with this full of ice.
Okay.
I use the little orange cooler now, and I fill it to the top with ice, and where it sprays on the top like it did on the grain, it does a nice job doing that, and it cools off some with the spray. And the other thing that's neat about it is that when I use the orange cooler to do that, I throw in two or three scoops of PBW in the water, and while it is recirculating cold water, it's cleaning out all my lines and the pump and my mash tun. So at the end of it, I wipe it down, spray it off, and turn it upside down. It's done. So
Is that another Anvil pump down there, that red one?
I think that's a Northern Brewer.
Oh, okay.
And I got a $50 deal on this at one time. You know, Northern Brewer does great deals every once in a while, but it doesn't put out as much as the little Anvil pump does.
Yeah, okay.
But that's kind of
When
what
you
all this.
were doing your
Go ahead.
when you were doing your research, that ball on your orange cooler, where did you get that?
Got it off Amazon.
Oh,
and I can hook you up with that. There are ones of these that have a ball on the end and a slot in them that does a real nice spray pattern. And then there's the ones that are drilled like this. They're stainless. Do a pretty nice job.
Okay. No, that's awesome.
Yeah, we luck out and find cool stuff every once in a while.
Yeah. Does that, before you run through the ball, do you restart with just the hose so that it doesn't get clogged, or it just not clog, or the hole's just big enough? Well, you're brewing a bag.
I'm brewing a bag. So the real trick is to, like in this picture, I've got the strap pulled down on this bungee cord, and that pulls the bag far enough off the floor that it doesn't get sucked up against the outlet. And so then which, everything we learn from screwing it up. So I have got the bag sucked in the fitting before. I've torn bag, the whole thing. But
You perfected it. Like this, it all works together, and
that's right. And the bungee works really good because you can drop it all the way down while you mash, and then pull the straps down, and it holds the grain up off the bottom like a false bottom.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
I tried to use one of those CIP balls a while ago, but mine was spraying like back up through the hole. It was coming back out the top. And I was wondering, how did you mount yours so it doesn't spray back up? Like, the top row of holes were far enough up that the water actually sprays back up and comes back up. Do you have a problem with that coming through your lid?
No, do you mean it came out the top of the lid?
Yeah.
It's in, so I've got this in a steel washer on top and a rubber gasket on the bottom with another steel washer. And then it is pipe thread, and it's got Teflon tape on it. So, and it's screwed pretty tight. So I don't get anything going back up through the top. It sprays a little bit on the top, but not anything to.
Yeah.
Matter.
What's that rubber gasket? How did you? Is it just like, what is that? I saw it in the picture.
I was trying to think of what I made it, but I was trying to think of what I made
it out
it
of something. Okay, that's what I'm missing. I didn't have that, and that would probably solve my problem.
Yeah, Brad, I remember seeing yours, Brad, because I was thinking about when I saw this. Yours spins. Like it's the ball itself rotates, or is it fixed?
No, it's fixed. It looks exactly what he's got here. It's just that there's a top row of holes that are, like all the way around the ball. And so they actually spray up, and the water just tends to want to come back up the hole. I'm looking for a ball.
Yeah, you gotta lower it deeper into the mash from the center. Let it just go out.
Yeah. That could be it too. Huh.
Yeah, and it tends to work pretty good. And this the cooler top here is also full. I drilled it and filled it with foam, so I was trying to get to where I didn't lose any temperature. And so it does pretty good. I probably lose a degree in an hour. But these 5-gallon igloos, the lid is hollow. And that may help a little bit too, because I completely filled it with foam and then drilled the hole. So it is solid all the way through.
Hmm.
You just use construction foam, just that
Yeah.
stuff you shoot in there and it, okay.
Yep.
That's brilliant.
Hey, I got a question.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the lid being hollow, and I see a lot of these TikToks where they talk about taking a igloo cooler and turning it into a what's that one that everybody's buying, the Yeti or whatever, and they're just drilling holes in it and using the spray foam. Do you think you'd gain anything by doing that in your current setup?
Well, that's what I did with this. I spray foamed it, but I used the non-expanding, all of it expands, but I used non-expanding so it wouldn't bulge it out too bad. And I gained, I was losing 2 or 3 degrees in an hour, maybe 2 to, sometimes 3. And I got to where I lose a degree. I didn't gain enough to make it worth what I paid to do it. And the clothes I ruined trying to get all of this, all this foam off of me. So yeah, it's a mess when you do it.
You've come a long way since the RCCC class.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Thank you. Yeah.
So ultimately, because I'm going to be in the same situation, you're saying it is not worth doing the spray foam. You're not going to gain but a degree versus what you're going to spend the spray foam.
Not really. Yeah, I don't really think it's worth it.
I love your setup, Michael.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you.
You're very efficient. It looks great.
Yeah.
So Mike, on that picture you've got there, are those ball valves you got there at the bottom of your mash tun and then at the top?
Yeah, it's a 3-piece on the bottom and then just a regular ball valve on top. And I did the ball valve on top when I was trying to not agitate the bed, or I was trying to keep my water level, just above the grain bed. And and it's why it's got, so I can control the flow and make sure that I don't drain below the bed and don't compress it. And all that's not worth worrying about. Crank it wide open and let it go.
That is my question. You're cranking it. Both valves look like they're wide open.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I've done it for the last year. Before I would tinker with it and make sure that it was, draining enough, and I had enough over top, and it wasn't what I was losing. What I was doing really was losing heat all the time, and it was better just for me to leave the lid on it and run it.
And you're not compressing your grain bed?
No.
Okay, all right. And that Anvil pump, I just bought I bought the Blickman Riptide pump, which is adjustable, and I'm thinking that's why I'm asking that. I'm thinking just open that thing wide open and run it through. And I don't think I'm not using brew in the bag, but I'm using a false bottom. I don't think I'll compress my grain bed. I guess.
Yeah, I think if I was and I had a false bottom in this, and I ran it without brewing a bag, and that's why I had set it up originally to adjust it. And I did have some problems with running either running my bed dry or compressing the bed down, and it would start to stick. But and I'm still kind of interested in letting it recirculate the whole time it's mashing. But when I have tried to do that, I lose a fair amount of temperature.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how much do you recirculate it?
I usually recirculate the last 10 minutes.
Okay.
Just let it wash because I don't spot. I do full mash. All the water goes in, brew in a bag. So
no sparge.
No sparge at all.
Nice.
Yep. That's it. But thank you for letting me show off.
Yeah, thank you.
That was
That
awesome.
great. Yeah, really appreciate that.
Yeah, I think we definitely want to see more. I love seeing everybody's setups. It just gives you your own ideas to explore.
Yeah. Hey, on that note, John and Brad, I don't know if this is a question for you, but is there a place that we can house folks' presentations like that? Because I agree, John. I think you get a lot of ideas from other people's stuff, and if we could reference those or put them somewhere and
We
refer
have two
back to them.
places. We put things on the YouTube channel. We've got a special playlist for educational demos, and on our CABREW account, Jeff has been putting a lot of these PowerPoint sessions.
Oh, good.
So if Mike gets that to Jeff, Jeff can put that up on the club account, where we haven't quite figured out what to do with them, but at least we can share them there and people can get to them.
Yeah,
So
I have some
we
friends
probably put-
I'd like to show that to.
Yeah, that's a very nice presentation. I'd like to have that on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Good deal. So I guess that pretty much brings us to the end. If there's any other topics anybody wants to bring up before we kind of go to the drinking stage for anybody that's got participated in the brew share.
I got a question. How many people on here? I've been doing. You can see behind me. I've always done the 3-tier gas, and I'm not doing it anymore for a couple of reasons. I pre-ordered the Anvil Foundry 18, so because I do 10-gallon batches. I'm just curious how many people are electric or how many people are doing the Anvil Foundry.
I have 2 all electric homemade, both a 10-gallon, well, one that's from a keg and another one that's like a 10-gallon. I'll do a presentation on one day, and like, great presentation today. Yeah, I love that. I'm gonna do something like that, and I'll send it over to Jeff. I know Jeff's bothered me in the past about it.
I'd like to make a comment on that. It's kind of unrelated, but I was getting tired of lugging around, all my equipment because I don't have a garage, so I have to put it all away and then haul it all back out. And I just kind of got tired of doing that. So I've started doing 2.5 gallon batches like Mike, and I've got a 6-gallon kettle. I've got a bag for brewing a bag. I got a wooden stick and a spoon and a thermometer. That's it. I mean, like, I've got no equipment, and I just do it right on my stove, and it's so simple, stupid. And, I walk away and I come in here and do stuff or go watch TV, and I'm done in 3.5 hours. And it's just really been a lot more fun. And I like the 2.5 gallon because I have baby kegs. So I fill a baby keg and throw it in there, and that's light to carry, so I'm just tired of lugging heavy things. And I've really enjoyed this. It's been a lot of fun. It's kind of, very minimalist for me, and it's been enjoyable.
Yeah, my systems I wanted to mention, are like clone copies of Clawhammer systems. I've kind of copy how they were built, but unfortunately couldn't find a nice basket, so I use a bag for it instead with a false bottom.
Wait, a bag with a false bottom? Isn't that just called a hole?
No, I have a false bottom, so the heating element doesn't get touched, but the bag doesn't touch the heating element.
Good deal. So I guess I know I need to go fetch the beers. How many people ended up participating in the brew share?
One, two, three, 4.
Yeah, about
That
4 or
it?
5 of us.
I haven't brewed since October. I've been busy, but with recent changes and